Hello, everybody. Can you hear me okay? All right, good. Well, I hope you'll indulge me and let me talk a little bit about the beach. It is summertime, and I am a beach kid. I grew up on Anna Maria Island, and I lived in Bradenton for 18 years before I moved to Tampa for another 18 years before I decided that all of the things I had done in my life were just not enough to help people. And so I gave it all up on a wing and a prayer that I could go to medical school and make a difference in this world. So today I'm going to talk to you about a newer development in the field of medicine. It's not like this substance in your body didn't exist before then. It just meant that the medical community didn't understand the importance of it until recently. So, about 2014, just 10 years ago, did we really start to investigate, research, and publish in the medical community about this particular part of your body. It is called fascia. Fascia, fascia. And it's a connective tissue, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about this. And where do I point? Anywhere. Okay, fair enough. I will try that. I am. I rebooted. I went on and off. No worries. So fascia is a connective tissue, which means it permeates your entire body. And it's going to help do a lot of different things. So today we're going to talk about what it is, what it's made of, what changes in our bodies occur to affect this tissue, and how the changes will affect your ability to function. We're going to do a few of the fascia stretches together. And then we're going to talk about how you maintain it for the rest of your life so that it works for you and not against you. Okay? All right. So we already know who I am, and I know a little bit about you guys as a group and your caregivers at your side. I want to say that I have just a big heart for this community. My grandmother was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and so I have experienced the highs and the lows and the joys that come with the victories. So hopefully today I can give you some information and some tools that help improve your life. All right. So fascia is a connective tissue. We talked about that. There are two components, two different cell types that are inside this fascia. One of them is collagen, and I'm sure at some point in your life you've heard about collagen, but it's a protein. It's a protein that gives structure and strength. It really is the substance of fascia. Another part of fascia is elastin, and it, sounds like an elastic band, but elastin is also a structural protein, but the function of this protein is more like a spring, right? You think of about a rubber band or a coiled spring, you can pull it apart, but then wham, it slams back together, right? Like that potential energy, that stretchiness is what gives that fascia its structure, its tension, its ability to hold your body in the place that it is. There are different cell types that build collagen and elastin. Fibroblasts are the big ones. Some other cell types you'll find in the fascia are things like enzymes and neurotransmitters. This is important for you to know because enzymes are the machinery in the body. These are the communicating molecules that tell your cells what to do. And then the neurotransmitters exist at the ends of your nerve fibers, right? And so Parkinson's is one of those conditions where the nerves are affected and the communication back to the brain is affected. So we're going to really focus in on why fascia is important specifically for you. Part of that is because the neurotransmitters need a space to exist and move around in order for the communication back to your brain to be efficient and effective. So I like to tell people this material, this fascia, in order for it to be broken down and renewed completely, is going to take about 7 to 14 months, depending on your functional and nutritional status. But if you start now, you're likely to see some changes and some benefits within 2 to 3 months. Okay, so we got to get started today. All of these things exist in this fluid matrix called ground substance. So the ground substance is exactly what it does. It's a substance that provides this grounding for it. These cells all have charges and energy. Energy is everything, but we want it to be in a very neutral environment so that it communicates well, right? If we didn't have a pole on the house, then the lightning could short everything, right? This ground substance serves as a way for all of these cells in this matrix to function properly. All right. So here's some more information about this matrix. And one of these things we're going to talk about is sugar, right? But inside immune cells, lymphocytes, nerve endings, and blood vessels, this fascia, you're going to find this web-like little matrix is holding all of these important elements in that space. So hyaluronan, this is the sugar molecule. We know it really more commonly as hyaluronic acid. And if you just want to shorten it and just say HA, I'm okay with that too. But it's chemically a sugar molecule. And it's produced by a particular type of cell called fasciocytes. These fasciocytes build fascia cells. Makes sense. The erythrocytes make red blood cells. The lymphocytes make your immune cells, right? So you have different types of specialized cells that build things for you. And the fasciocytes create this lovely sugar molecule called hyaluronan or hyaluronic acid as the foundational building block of this tissue we call fascia. It's dynamic. It can change its consistency from something more jelly-like, like a Jell-O that's been left in the refrigerator for too long, that's a little hard and crusty on the outsides, to something a bit more fluid, right? Like that wiggly wobbly Jell-O before it's firmly set. If we've any fans of Jell-O in here? Just me. All right, good. We want it to be more watery. We want it to be more fluid because then our bodies become more fluid. And this is important, especially when you have coordination and communication issues from your cerebellum to your nerve endings. Right? We want to remove as many impediments, as many things that are obstructing this communication as possible. So we're going to use the fascia to achieve our goals. It helps keep everything in shape. It permeates the entire body. Can everybody see the picture of the citrus, right? Have you ever cut a grapefruit or an orange or a lemon in half? And it makes this lovely sort of flower pattern or sunburst or this wheel. But if we were to carve out the juicy bits, if we were to take that and scoop it out with our grapefruit spoon, we would be left with this shell and this white, pulpy, fibrous substance, right? There's always this little wheel that's left behind after we eat it. That is the fruit version of fascia, right? It's fruit fascia, but we have the same thing. This fascia, it gives us shape, it gives us movement, it helps supply the nearby structures with the nutrients it needs, and it helps communicate. So I'm going to keep repeating because it's just showing you different ways that this fascia works, all right? But keep that fruit picture in your mind, and then let's look at this. So this is one of your muscles, just sliced down the middle. And can you appreciate that if we just started to scoop out the meaty parts, we might be left with something that looks a lot like that grapefruit or that orange, right? There's that fibrous pulpy bit in between all of this meaty stuff that exists to give you shape, to give you support, to give you function, and to help with communication. Because in this fascia is the muscle tissue is here. This is your deep fascia. This is a layer of superficial fascia, and this is skin, right? So it's right here. And if you put your hand on your arm and just sort of twist it back and forth, you're going to realize at some point it gets a little sticky or hard to move. That's the fascia restriction, right? And so right in this layer here is your ground substance and the collagen and elastin fibers, right? So there's this microscopic stuff going on. This is a picture of it magnified 25 times. So this little bit here, can you see it? Sorry, I'm in your way. All right, good. So here is a picture of fascia. This is under the microscope, magnified 25 times. And so what does that look like? Cobwebs, you know, it's kind of glassy, gooey, jelly looking, right? These are all very scientific terms, by the way. Okay, good. All right, so let's look at this picture. The top picture is the one we just looked at. That fascia material magnified 25 times. What's the bottom one? I like that, and probably yes. But in real life, this is Halloween decorations. These are the cobwebs that you see everywhere in the corner of houses. So it's Summerween for us here, and just wanted to show you this really kind of web-like quality of fascia. If you can picture it in that layer underneath your skin, between your skin and your muscle, this web-like material is really taking up that space, okay? And in your mind, can you see pulling a little bit on that cobweb and how the whole thing moves when you pull a little corner of it, right? You can imagine that in your mind? I should have brought some with me so we could play with it. Next time. All right, so this is a picture. It's not a great picture, and it has a lot of little tiny letters on it. So I'm not really going to read it word for word, but what I wanted it to remind me to tell you is that there's different stages that happen after an injury to the muscle tissue and the fascia. Up at the top is nice and normal. It's smooth. All of the anatomical structures are where they're supposed to be, but somebody bumped into a table or somebody threw the ball for the dog a little too hard and got a tear. If we have a crush injury or a tear injury or something like that, the fascia fibers break apart. The muscle tissue breaks apart. And so we create a rough surface for the body to have a scaffolding to rebuild tissue on, right? You're going to heal, per se, that tissue. But if we are not introducing fascia training or fascia stretching or fascia body work like I do, then we're going to end up with a nasty, matted mess that's not going to move well. It's not going to allow your tissues to receive oxygenated blood very well. And then everything becomes just stagnant and stuck, and the whole thing feeds back into itself, right? Just this endless cycle of stagnation and matting and stiffness. So there are phases with which we can approach getting to the fascia and moving the fascia. All right, let's see. Has anyone prepared chicken at home? Right? And you pull the skin off the chicken breast and there's this weird filmy substance and you had to pluck it off and threw it away, right? Well, this is human fascia. So this is a picture of the good healthy fascia. There's nice smooth borders here, maybe a couple little collagen bridges. We can see that. But this is very unhealthy fascia. This is an area that had an injury or maybe a surgical scar of some kind, right? Smooth border until we get here, and there's a large collagen bridge, and then another large collagen bridge here. So fascia is existing in between your skin and your muscles. It also wraps around the muscles. So here it lives in these surfaces, but these restrictions, when they become really firm and really attached, they're going to limit how much you can use your arms. They're going to limit how much movement you have with your lower extremities. It's going to limit how much you can rotate your trunk, how much you can extend your neck. So it's permeating the body everywhere. And so we want to teach you today about our bodies and how we can make it better. So this little slide is just a reminder that age and activity matter. There's some things that we aren't going to be able to change, but there are things that we can do in order to reduce the impact of those changes, right? We can have better quality of life for longer if we really pay attention and nurture this part of our body. So this is a slide I like to share. It's kind of funny, but if anyone wakes up after 40 and isn't in pain, they probably aren't with us anymore, right? Like if you're over 40, you're not in pain, you're probably dead. So here we are. I'm there with you guys. I wake up every morning, with a bingo card of which body part is going to hurt today, right? So I get it. I'm right there with you. So I do fascia training. I do it through yoga, but today we're going to teach you a few little different ways to get to your fascia that don't require, a Gumby genetics. Fascia tissue is densely populated with pain receptors. We talked about the neurotransmitters that talk to your brain. The fascia in the back, especially in the lumbar region, is thicker. And so if this fascia tissue is thicker, it likely has a higher density of these sensory neurons, right? So it might not be that your back pain is worse than other pain in your body, but it certainly has more telephones to the brain, right? So this is why lumbar fascia and back pain is such a common phenomenon in our world. And we're learning today that if we can treat the fascia, we can reduce back pain, which is great. The contractile cells respond to stress and strain. So if you bent over and picked something up, or again, the dog pulled a little bit too much and your muscles clenched down, those signals are communicated to all the structures in your body, including the fascia tissue. So it's important that when we embrace fascia training or we embrace stretching, that we're doing it every day, because we're trying to tell the brain, it's okay. This part of the body is just fine. So we're going to teach you how to talk to the body through fascia training. A lack of exercise and these little micro injuries really cause these false signals to the molecules. I'll say again, the more stagnant the tissue becomes, the more matted it becomes, the less efficient all that communication back to your brain becomes. So it's important that when we embrace this, that we continue to do it. All right, this is one of my favorite ones. If it sits, it sticks, which is troublesome for you, my friends, because movement is one of the problems with Parkinson's, right? It's a very uncoordinated movement and sometimes can feel very unsafe. So here's why I wanted to come and share this message with you, because if we can improve the health and the functionality of the fascia tissue, then we can help you have more coordinated movements. We can help the brain and the body communicate with each other. So while we might be sitting to do some of these stretches, it's going to be important because we're being intentional about reaching that fascia. All right, some things to think about. If you've ever described a muscle ache or a muscle cramp to your doctors or to your friends or to your lunch buddy across the table, it's like, oh, it's aching, stabbing, just raw toothache kind of pain. When you describe muscle pain or bone pain, you use very objective words or adjectives. But when you talk about fascia pain, and you don't even know it yet, your brain subconsciously just says, ugh, this is horrible. This is ugly. This is just nasty pain. So when people tell me about their pain and they start using words, emotionally charged words, I know they're talking about fascia pain, not muscle pain, not nerve pain, not bone pain. When they use words like, oh, this is just sickening, it's devastating, it's horrible, it's nasty, like really emotionally charged words. If you remember yourself saying any of those things to anybody when you're talking about your body, you might have been experiencing some fascia pain, some fascia dysfunction. All right. What else do I want to tell you? We've talked about some of those. This is my favorite. The skeleton can't stand up by itself, right? If I unzipped your skin and we just step out of it, let it be over there, your bones are there, but your muscles are also there. And once I've unzipped the skin, they're not just flapping about, right? They're not just like flailing in the wind. They have shape, they have structure. They're being held to the bone by the fascia connections. The muscles have, the muscles and bones have ligaments and tendons and fascia to provide structure. If you took the muscles and the fascia off the body, the bones would just tumble into a little pile. So it's not this, the bones are not the scaffolding of the body. It's this fascia and all of those interconnected tissues, the connective tissues that provide your structure. All right. Can everybody see my friends with these blue lines? It's okay if you don't see it very distinctly, but what I want to show you is that now medicine is embracing this fascia that exists, right? And you're going to see it does run congruent with some of your muscle groups, but then there are areas where these fascia lines don't make sense and they don't follow the body's muscle groups. But we know these fascia planes exist because we're starting to use information from physiologists and physical therapists who watch the body. And we've measured the body before and after receiving fascia treatments. So these skeleton friends of mine are just wearing different sheets of fascia for you to see. Let me show you some of them a little bit more close up. This side over here, this deep front side, there's so much fascia tissue running from underneath your diaphragm down through your hips and pelvis and attaching on your legs. So when I tell my patients that you've got, discoordinated leg movements, I need to work up here in your abdomen and on your diaphragms, I get funny looks. But honestly, people are doing so much better when we address these deeper tissues. So there's a superficial. So these are the deep structures, which means they're really far down into the body. And then these are the superficial ones, like you might imagine your abdominal muscles or your actual leg muscles. All right. This is the superficial back. That one makes sense, right? But then there's this guy. And it's a very faint line, but I'm going to tell you that the fascia tension exists from the right shoulder through the back to the left knee. And then oppositely, the left shoulder through this fascia in the lumbar spine to the right knee. So we have this crisscross pattern happening to our bodies, right? And so when we get up in a minute and we start to do these stretches, you're going to feel the pull in these different directions. Maybe for the first time, you're going to be consciously aware of what's happening with the fascia in your body. This one is the diagonal torso. And this little blue guy over here, he's like most of us, walking around with all kinds of fascia restrictions. These red spots are showing where that fascia is tight. And so he's got a little short leg on this side and he's bent over here and then his neck's over there. So you've seen people walking around like this, right? Or you've seen people walking around like this, right? We have fascia all in the front of our body. If we can open up that fascia, we can remove the restrictions that are shortening the body and help people stand more upright, have better balance. All right. Pardon my French, but sometimes life is just a pain in the ass. And I get people to talk to me all the time about this sciatic pain and hip pain. Interestingly enough, we have a field of science called trigger points and referred pain by a group of doctors, Travell and Simons, who studied all of these patterns and they started to record them and they gathered all these statistics and they found that in these red areas, this is where people reported pain, right? You can see these fuzzy red areas, but this is where their problems were. These are actually muscles in your butt. So these are your gluteal muscles. And remember when I talked about fascia being constricting and suffocating the muscles and not allowing for good blood flow? This is what happens when this tissue gets stagnant and strangulated. We get these trigger points in the muscles, and then we get a lot of pain in the ass. So my job is to help relieve those restrictions. People, when they come in and see me, I'm always doing abdominal work. I'm always doing work in the glutes and usually doing work in the head and neck for patients that come in complaining of back pain. And so far, people have been really responding well, having good feedback. So, what I want you to know about your body is that sometimes what seems very obvious might be a little bit more mysterious. This picture here is the true pattern of sciatica. True sciatica is compression of the nerve root leaving the spine at the L4, L5, or S1 levels. That pattern tends to come laterally across the leg and then down towards the big toe. So sciatica comes from your spine down your leg to your big toe, right? So it's a lateral line to your big toe. But if you're telling me I've got pain here and it comes like back there, more than likely that's fascia pain. More than likely that's one of your glute muscles. And wow, isn't that much better news than needing a back surgery, right? So I put this slide in there because my colleagues and I, my business partners and I, we have, it's sort of bittersweet, right? My business partner, Dr. John Wong, who was supposed to speak today, is a neurosurgeon. He's a, brain and spine surgeon. And ironically, bringing me into the team and having me treat his patients has reduced his surgical load. But that was our goal for our community. We wanted to provide better healthcare, better options, and really improve the functionality of the people that we want to serve, right? This is my home, and I'm very invested in making sure all of you feel well. So who here is ready to move and feel better? Anybody? Yeah, good. Keep your hands up real high, real high. Reach over to someone next to you and give them a high five. High five. Coming over. High five. Good. All right, high five. Good. All right, you guys. I'm excited about it too. I am so excited. So fascia training doesn't have to take up all of your time. You've got much more important things to do, like have lunches with the grands and go watch a sunset, do whatever else in your life you want to do, right? I'm not telling you have to spend all your time in the gym. 10 minutes twice a week with intentional fascia training will start to show improvements. If you wanted to see it in 2 to 3 months, then I would say increase your efforts to about 3 to 4 times a week. So the more you do, the more you're going to see. But we can get it moving again. The importance of fascial training. We talked about some of these. I'm just going to go over them real quick. You can work more, your muscles will work more efficiently. You recuperate faster, performance improves, movement and coordination improve. The movements become more fluid and less stiff, right? So this like rigidity that you have as part of the Parkinson's presentation can potentially improve if we are intention about moving the fascia specifically. Posture improves. Your body and skin appear more toned and youthful. That's because we're bringing proteins and enzymes and collagen and elastin to the places that need that support and that structure. If you have any injuries or if you have pain, we're going to help protect the body in that way. Again, improving this phone line from your body to your brain. And the last but not least is increased vitality, right? If I told you that your blood vessels and your nerve endings are moving through this like mucky pond water, think about how much better it might be if we can open it up, flush out that muck and silt and stuff, and really bring fresh oxygenated blood, good new healthy proteins, enzymes, all those things. Your tissues, and your experience in life is going to have a lot more vitality. So no, you don't need any special equipment. It's suited for everyday use, for all ages, all levels of training, and it doesn't have to replace what you're doing. You can add it to your already scheduled PT programs, your already scheduled gym programs, all of the things you're already doing with your neurologist, right? This is just a way to complement your experience. This is a particular group Robert Schleip is the person who leads this research group. They have published lots of research articles. This is their second edition of this particular guidebook called Fascial Fitness. It is what I have gone to as my supported and promoted version of the most scientific evidence for fascia. And they have a pretty simple program, 10 minutes twice a week. In this program, you're going to find additional exercises specifically for problem areas, different exercises for men and women, and how to keep creative movement in everyday life, and specifically fascial training for those in older age. So I did take a few cues and lessons from this book for today's workout session, but I modified it significantly. Wanted it to be fun and memorable, and I wanted everyone here in the room to be able to do it today. So he recommends, as far as tools and equipment go, you grab some small weights, or you can use these plastic bottles, right? These are just 2 plastic bottles filled with water. There are tennis balls, right? So tennis balls, I'll tell you why in a minute. A footstool for standing on and being able to do leg swings, but you don't need it. You know, if you can do leg swings, just standing there, that's fine. And then a balloon. And balloon is really more or less to help you stabilize certain body parts. But most important, I think, is breath. If we don't have breath, we have nothing. Breathing is our only obligation at this point in life, right? Like, that's it. You're not breathing. It's, well, let's not do much else. So thinking of breathing, let's try to do some deep breathing. Has anyone done breath work with you guys before? Okay, I'm going to keep it real simple, and we're going to imagine a box, right? There's all kinds of boxes around here. And so what we're going to do is inhale and exhale to a count of 4. So the inhale will be 4, and the exhale will be 4. Inhale 4, exhale 4. So just use that box as kind of your guide, right? So if you're ready to breathe with me, we're going to exhale it all out and inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 2, 3, 4, in and out. Good. One more time. In, 4, and out. Great. So that's control. That's breath control. You're really moving your diaphragm up and down. Why? Because it's fascia. It's the central component of fascia. The fascia that is in your diaphragm is connected to your pelvic floor. It's connected to the roof of your mouth. It's connected to the muscles on the inside of the leg. So when we really make an effort to breathe in and we really make an effort to breathe out, we're making that diaphragm go up and down. So not only is it a pump for our lungs, but it becomes a pump for our lymphatic system and for the fascia tissue. Okay, so these are some of the basic exercises in Dr. Schlepp's foundational program. And you see here that this person is using the tennis ball under their foot to roll out the fascia in the foot. Who here has had their PT or their doctors have them roll out the fascia in their feet? A couple of you. How many of you have heard of plantar fasciitis? Right? Plantar fasciitis, right? So itis is inflammation in the plantar aspect of the fascia in the foot. So plantar fasciitis has been around a super long time. And really, we can resolve it and improve it just using a tennis ball to stretch and relieve the tension on that fascia. So this book is pretty good. And it has some other exercises. This one here is, well, that one we're going to do in a minute. So this one here is more about bouncing. And so adding, I told you the fascia is that holder of potential energy. It's the spring, right? So they have some bouncing exercises in there, and we'll do a little bit of that. And you can see my lady friend here, she's doing some front stretching, some side stretching, and she's working with her shoulders, right? So these are the key components: front side, back side, shoulders, and then the spine. We're going to get into that too. All right. So I joked a little bit that maybe this is the one that we should try today. But more than likely, we'll be able to do this today, right? So again, it's really pretty simple. And if you're game, I will lead you through a few of the stretches that I came up with. Does that sound good? Okay, so you can use your caregivers, you can use your chairs. I actually encourage you to use the chairs. And I am going to borrow a chair myself. Will someone make sure this goes back to its home when I'm done? Okay, good. All right, you guys. So everybody, we can start seated. I'm fine with that. Let's do that. So we're going to go back to the breath. Everybody can see me okay? Yeah. All right, so go back to that breath. Go in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. In, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. Good. All right, we're going to start here in our chairs, and then we're going to get brave, and we're going to get out of the chair. But first things first, let's just start shaking things out. Shake out the arms, wake up the blood flow. Good. How about your shoulders? Can you shake out your shoulders? Shake them out. Just shake them out. Shake them out. Shake them out. Good, good, good. How about a leg? Can we shake a leg? Shake a leg. If I shake too much, I'm going to fling my shoe across the floor. All right. How about this side? Shake, 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 shake it, shake it. Oh, good. Okay. How about we get up a little bit? Why don't we stand? We stand. This is good. Okay. So take your chair or take your favorite person to hold on to. All right. Good, good, good. And we're just going to kind of bounce. Can we bounce a little bit? Bounce in your knees, bounce in your body, and just like really floppy, like really floppy. Like we're not trying to impress anybody with our movements today, okay? Just really floppy. Great. And so what we're doing is we're getting that fascia awake, right? We're saying, hey, stretchy cells, hey, bouncy cells, let's do this. All right, good. So the first thing that I want to do is called the beach wave. What do waves do? They come in and they go out, right? So we're going to do that with our chest. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. If you need your chair, you can exaggerate these moves. In, out. Push your chest out and back. Out and back. Out and back. Good. You feel where the tightness is. Can you sense that tightness in that spots? Good. And last one. Okay. The next one here I have written down is called the surfboard. What does a surfboard look like? It's kind of flat at the bottom and it tapers at the top. So put your thumbs together if you can. If you can't, you can bring them right here. That's fine too. But we're going to try to get our thumbs together and then put our palms together. And now that we've got our good little surfboard, we're going to take a breath in, stretch up. And on the exhale, just lean to one side. If you need your chair, use your chair. I'm okay with that. Yep. Good. On the inhale, come back up. And then exhale to the other side. Inhale back up. Still counting to 4. And exhale to the other side. 2, 3, 4. Good. There's a modification. So if you took your chair, if you wanted to, you can just lean to one side and lean to one side. But really the key is to stretch the side body. We did front and back. Now we're doing side to side. Okay. This one is for shoulders. This is called the paddle out. If you've ever seen a surfer on a surfboard, they got to get out there before they can catch the wave, right? But it's a very coordinated movement. So I want you to start with your hands right out in front of you. And I'm going to turn around for the sake of demonstrating. All right, let's take the left hand to the shoulder. Now, reach as far behind you as you can, really reaching for that back wall. Reach, reach, reach. Now bring it up, reach for the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. And then come forward. We're going to do that with the right hand to the shoulder. Reach as far behind you as you can, really reaching for the back wall. Reach, reach, reach. Up to the ceiling, reach, reach, reach. And then come back down. And while you're doing this, I want you to notice, where are you feeling the restriction? Where are you feeling the tightness in your fascia, right? What areas might we pay more attention to when we're doing the next round? Okay, this will be the last one. Up and back to the front. Good. How'd everybody do with that? Feel good swimming out? And not everybody's going to have a full range of shoulder motion. I get that. Okay. But just keep it where you can do it, if wherever it is. Just make sure that you're getting tension and stretch very intentionally in these spots. We did front and back. We did side to side. We did shoulder motion. Okay. We're great surfers today. We're all going to make it out to the beach. All right. Now the next part is called the barrel roll. And this thing that the surfer guy right here is in, this is called the barrel of the wave. So we're gonna join him in this barrel. Remember when I showed you the pictures of those blue lines that crossed the body? Didn't make any sense at all. This is where we're gonna get into those guys. Okay. So might need a chair for stability. And sometimes I just lean my hip against it, and that's just fine. If you feel like these chairs are stable enough and you've got a spotter, you've got your caregiver with you if you don't feel comfortable. I want you to cross your right leg over your left. Good. Right is over the left. And then we're going to take the left arm under the right, right arm on top. And now we're going to twist to the right. Good. If you want to put your hand down, you can. Just make sure you're twisting. And so you're twisting this line. I'm making you bring your right leg over to stretch this line, and I'm making you turn your body to the right to stretch this line. Okay? Now you can first move your feet out so you have balance and then come back. And now we're going to reverse it. We're going to put the left leg in front of the right. The right arm goes under, left arm goes on top, and we twist to the left. If you want to modify that, you just use your chair. Say, hey, chair, help me out. I need a little stretch, right? So however you want to do it, the intention of this one, if you want to switch, we can go back to the other side. So now the right leg goes over the left, and we're going to twist to the right. I'm trying to make it easy to remember. Whichever leg is in front is the direction you're going to twist. Okay? Good. You want to switch and go back? Left over, twist to the left. We're doing so good, you guys. How's it feeling so far? Yeah? Well, hopefully it's not painful. Maybe a little uncomfortable. Yeah? All right, hang 10. Has anybody seen the hang 10? Where they go to the foot of the tip of this board and they're just like dangling all 10 toes off the front of it, right? I don't think that any of us really want to do that, but here's what we're going to do instead. We're going to plant our toes somewhere nice. We're going to use our chair. We're going to send one leg back. And if you can put the heel down, great. That's not really the goal here. What I want you to do is try to push your body up, because I want you to stretch that deep front line. Remember all that stuff that's really deep? I want you to feel the stretch in here, right in here. Okay. So if you don't, send your lat back. Try again. Send the leg back a little further. Yeah. And then stretch up. How's that feel? Can you feel that pulling sensation there? Oh, all right. Bring the foot back up nice and slow. Get your bearings. Now let's switch to the other side. Send that right leg back. Really get into there deep, and then up as much as you can and really feel that stretch right here. If you're not feeling the stretch, turn away from that leg. Yeah. Now you got it. Whew. Breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Breathing is so important. Our only obligation. All right. Slowly make your way back. Let's do one more on the left side with that little twist. So send your 5 toes back. You got 5 toes here, 5 toes there. That's your 10. And then stand up straight, twist a little to get that deep front stretch. Good, good, guys. All right, let's come back up nice and easy. All right, now that we've learned how to surf, we're all big kahunas. So what are we going to do? The hula, yeah? So we're going to feet wide, make some nice big circles with the hips. Big circles with the hips. Yep. Get all of that deep fascia going. All right, you might want to turn around the other way. Next time I'm bringing music. Good, good, good. Nice deep circles. I'm getting all that fascia moving. Good, good, good. All right. Now we're going to shake out the legs. Maybe give them a little swing. Yep. All right, coming back down. Hip circles again. Bend the knees if you need to. Make nice wide circles. Ah, good stuff. Oh, I need that side stretched out more. Okay, good. Can you feel it? Is your body talking to you now and saying, I really like this? Spend a little more time over here. All right, good. Start listening to your body. It's going to say like, oh, yes, I need all of this. Great. Okay, that leg, left leg now, or whichever leg you didn't use before. Let's get it out there. Shake it off a little bit. Give it a nice swing. Good, 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 guys. All right, what are we going to do after this? One more set of hula hips. Big, deep hula hips. I love it. All right, you guys. I'm glad. We made it to the end. Everybody, what a great surfing day. All right, so you guys can sit down, but that's sort of the introduction to your fascia training. What I want to tell you is that you can maintain this healthy tissue by doing your fascia training. What did we say? 10 minutes twice a week, 3 to 4 times a week is even better. In order to maintain all of those gains you've made, you need to eat protein. Protein is that vital nutrient for collagen. It's vital for the formation of elastin. It's the stuff that your fasciitis use to build fascia. That protein and vitamin C. Everybody put your hand up real quick. And everybody look at your palm. Like the thickness of your palm, the size of your palm. This is a serving of protein. Everybody's palm is different. My palm is my serving. Your palm is your serving. Your palm is your serving. But I want you to have 2 servings of protein a day. 2 servings. Whether that's meat or fish or tofu or the equivalent of a plant-based protein, you should be having 2 servings, the thickness and size of your palm per day. Okay? Add some vitamin C in there, and you'll be able to maintain good, healthy tissue. Hydration is important, especially in this Florida weather. You're sweating, you're evaporating, you're not realizing how much water you're losing. So this fascia tissue you saw, it's glistening, it's beautiful. It needs water. Its whole function improves when you're well hydrated. So be kind to your body. Give it water, move it around a bit, stretch every day. And if you want to, some of the programs that exist that are really out there and are good for fascia training are yin yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, and Qigong. And maybe some of these are going to be offerings in your program here. Maybe they might exist in your communities where you live, but seek them out and really learn about them. Google them, look at them on the internet, get the grands to help you with that. Body workers like myself, people that do massage therapy, a specific type of massage therapy called neuromuscular therapy, or you want to look for the letters NMT. Those people can help you by putting their hands on your body and doing all that stretching. Another person that might be able to help you is a Chinese medicine physician. The doctors of Chinese medicine do acupuncture, but they also do like a Tui Na massage, type of Chinese medical massage, also aimed at moving fascia, because we know the energetic channels, the meridians that are important for the vital energies of our bodies are contained in those fascial lines, those blue lines I showed you. And then there's people like me. I'm a DO, I'm a doctor of osteopathy. So osteopaths in some way can help you with fascia restrictions as well. Okay, so what kind of questions do we have? Yes, ma'am. Mhm.
You had mentioned hyaluronic acid.
Yes, ma'am.
Does the topical application of hyaluronic acid in the area that's getting around the cancer, for example, and prednisone, steroids don't help?
Right, I hear you. So that's question 1.
That's topical.
Okay, so she's asking me, yeah, so she's tried topical steroids and prednisones and all kinds of things that don't seem to be offering relief in the areas too. So she's asking me about the topical application of hyaluronic acid for the sake of affecting those tissues and improving the pain there. On one side of my doctor brain, I have to say there's not a lot of published evidence, right? But on my human side, where I'm empathizing with you and as a person, as a healer who wants to help you, I'm inclined to say, why not try? You've tried everything else that didn't help. Let's lend a little bit of credibility and some research data to the medical community by trying it, right? Hyaluronic acid that we use topically is really going to be more superficial, right? So it plumps the skin, it helps get rid of wrinkles, it does that kind of stuff. What I want you to do to improve the hyaluronic acid in your body is the protein and the vitamin C, okay? That's key. If you don't have that, we're just flushing products down the toilet, okay? What was your second question?
You're good because you do
I'm so
protein
sorry.
and vitamin C.
Anybody else have one she can think?
Take insurance, we got Aetna and
Oh,
TRICARE
that
for
was-
life.
I understand the question about insurance. I know, and it's a good ask. And I will tell you that it's a frustrating environment to be in, to have to turn people away because they don't have a certain kind of insurance. So we made the difficult decision to make sure that we accepted cash, but we made it affordable for the people that we're presenting to. Okay. So my office has come up with a special pricing package. You're not going to see results with me in 1 to 2 sessions. You really got to invest like 6 sessions. Okay. So there are packages to come see me if you want to see me, and I would love to see you. But I did say there's lots of other affordable options if I'm not the best for you. I know that.
Exercise, you give shots.
So I am actually a manual therapist. I use my hands to diagnose and treat different dysfunctions within the body. Not all DOs do that. Most DOs have gone on to medical specialties. Some DOs are surgeons. I kind of came full circle. I did primary care for a while. I did inpatient hospital medicine for a while. And then Dr. Wong and I had this great lunch conversation where we decided to really be pioneers, to really blaze a trail and give patients a different option. So we're taking all of my manual therapy years as a massage therapist, combining that with my training in osteopathy and all of my knowledge from Western medicine to really hone in on hands-on manual manipulation of your tissue. What does that look like? Stretching, holding, sometimes massaging, engaging the muscle activity. But I'm there with you to get your body to move in ways that you can't move it yourself. I'm right here off of Bee Ridge and Sawyer. We do, right there in the back. Absolutely. So much information. Yeah. Craniosacral therapy. So craniosacral therapy is a different certification. There are many people who can go be certified in craniosacral. They all have to have a license in the state of Florida, a touch license. So there are a handful of groups that can do that. Massage therapists, physicians, nurses, and some spiritual, religious people do have licenses for touch. Reiki. So you'll find some people, but most of them are certified like dual modality. They can do massage therapy or they're in medicine somehow. So you always want to get a touch therapist. But craniosacral really works with the fluid bathing the brain and the spinal cord. It's a subtle perception of the respiratory movement between those organs, but it's a manipulation of the meninges and the fascia around the brain and spinal cord specifically. So, yeah, great. And so that why we knew about CSF, respiratory motion, and fascia before we knew about or cared about the fascia in the body is interesting, right? But these are vital organs, so our focus went there first. But, you know, medical science now has some time to breathe now that COVID is somewhat settled down. We can focus now on further advances in medical sciences, and thank goodness we're getting back to the body. Thank goodness we're able to tell people like how they can help and fix themselves. So one more time for me.
This is a specific question.
Okay.
I have multiple systems. And
Yes.
I also have comorbidity of mentioned.
Yes. Okay. Mhm.
Like cancer. Is it conceivable that because nothing works out,
Mm.
that the comorbidity of dimensional is causing pain?
So you have a lot of things going on, right?
Yeah.
So not only are you having multiple system atrophy, but you have these masses in there that are complicating the communication between your brain and your tissues, which is likely what's leading to the atrophy, right? Like I said, if it sits, it sticks. If you don't use it, you lose it. So if your communication centers aren't efficient, if the telephone call down to the limb or to the liver isn't as efficient as it could be, then it's just not functioning well. So your question is, if the topical things aren't going to help, what internally might, right? I'm going to bet if we intentionally work on fascia restrictions, if we intentionally work on the communication function of fascia, making the fascia healthier, we help improve that signal, the quality of that signal. Imagine a telephone line that has lots of frayed ends in it, or that insulating wire has been chipped at by some birds, right? The signal is going to weaken by the time it gets to the person on the other line, right? But what we need to do is make that insulated material, this fascia, more healthy, and so that that message from A to B is a little more clear and a little more consistent. Do I think it's going to reverse things? No. Is it going to improve your coordination, your fluidity, potentially improve organ function? Certainly it could, right? But we have to try and see, right? Yeah, you're welcome.
So you said 6 sessions and then do you have to continue going after you?
So we usually see good results within 4 to 5. I try to get people to the point that they can maintain it on their own. Again, it just depends on the substrate, the person. How are they coming to me? Are they completely dehydrated with poor nutrition, or have they done all of that work and now they just need me to get them over the edge? 6 to 12 sessions, but there are options, right? So not likely to see results in 1 to 2, but by 4 or 5, we should be making some gains. And hopefully by the 6th session, you were in a place where you can maintain. Yeah. Good questions. Yes, ma'am.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, his muscles in his legs are really bad.
Yeah.
He has a bad back.
Okay.
So exercising, standing up exercises are really, really hard on him, but he spent probably a year or better sitting.
Yes. So if it sits, it sticks, right?
Yeah.
So he's in this pattern now where he sat long enough, it got matted. And when he stands and tries to move it, it's painful.
Is it something you can help him?
I think it's possible. Yeah. I mean, what we need to do is start with seated activities, right? So if we did all of these exercises in the chair, we certainly could, right? Right? We did all of the things with the shoulder. We can do the side bending here in the chair, right? We can do the twisting in the chair. I'm twisting the back fascia right now. I'm twisting the front fascia right now. So we can start all of these things in the chair, right? And then we build on the flexibility in that tissue. I don't expect you to be able to turn all the way around. I don't, but we can work on just the knees. We can work on just the torso. We can work on all those things. And then we can scoot to the edge of our chair. We can cross one leg over the other. We're just building on what we're gaining, right? But you have to start somewhere.
I think if you'd like to head into your office, you could probably, I'm pretty sure his bad.
Yeah. And you know what I think might be good too, and I'm going to take this idea back to my office, is maybe doing a group program. If there's enough of you that are interested, we could do a group program. And I could either come here and do it, or we can do it in our office that's just down on Sawyer. So let me talk to Susan. I'm going to talk to you about maybe doing a group program. Okay. So we'll see if we can put something together for you guys. Okay. Yeah, I would love to do that. I would love to.
Massage therapist, because he goes to massage
Yeah.
therapy. Do you need a specific
Mm.
massage therapist?
Yes. So the people that are trained in trigger point therapy and fascia manipulation are the therapists that are called neuromuscular therapists. And if you take any of my information back there, it says neuromuscular at the top, just to kind of remind everybody. NMT are the credentials you want to look for. LMT is licensed massage therapist. NMT is neuromuscular therapist. That's what I did. I did that in 2006 to 2013. And then I started med school in 2014. So yes, that's the foundation of all of the things that I've been doing. Yeah. And it'd be helpful. And it's a great place to start, right? Good. these are the resources I used. This fascial fitness book. It's a book. You can find it in a library probably. And then these are the trigger point charts from Dr. Travell and Dr. Simons. Whoopsie. Da-da-da. And then this is the fascia lines from Anatomy Trains. This is a pretty popular anatomy book between a lot of somatic workers or body workers. But that's pretty much it. We went over the questions. This is some contact information for me. I don't expect you to write it down, but do please accept my sincere thanks and gratitude just to be able to be here and share this with you. I do have business cards and what we call little rack cards in the back for you. So thank you so much. Yeah. And I wish you the best on your journeys. I really do. You guys are in a great place. You have so many resources and opportunities. So please take advantage of every single one. All right, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.